I'm Bruce Gordon, author of the book The Spirit of Attack. In 1983, I was in charge of quality control at the Aircraft Modification Center at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. We had two big hangars, and in those we did modifications on many test aircraft, but especially the ARIA, the Advanced Range Instrumentation Aircraft. These were designed to track our missile shots, and we put many other tests on them. I got an urgent call to go to the commander's office. He said there had been a bomb threat. A bomb had been placed somewhere in our hangars, and it was going to go off at 5 p.m. It was already after 4 p.m., so we evacuated the building, and everyone went home except for me and my quality control inspectors. As inspectors, we knew what was normal in the building, and we were going to look for anything abnormal. At 4:30, I met my inspectors. They had found nothing abnormal. I sent them home, and I went out and sat in my car in the parking lot and waited to see what would happen. 5 o'clock came and went. Everything was quiet. I sat alone in the parking lot. Nobody else was around. At 5:30, I became convinced that the bomb threat was a hoax. I got out of my car and went into the hangar to see if there was anything unusual. I went into the big, silent hangar and went quietly from plane to plane looking for anything abnormal. Suddenly I heard voices. I crept carefully around, and there were muffled voices coming from the cockpit of the giant aircraft. Should I call the police? I'd have to go find a telephone. Those men could be planting a bomb right at that moment while the hangar was empty. I very quietly went to the ladder that's behind the cockpit and climbed ever so quietly into the plane. My heart was in my throat as I listened to what they were saying. There were two Air Force mechanics from a different unit removing a radio. I came up behind them and asked them what in the world they were doing and who had authorized it. They said nobody had authorized it. They had called for authority, but nobody was answering their phones. They had to get that radio or their mission would be scrubbed. I said, okay, proceed. They had me shaking in my boots, but I admired those guys. They needed the radio to get their mission off the ground. They couldn't get approval, so they had to violate some regulations to get their plane off the ground. I admired that. They had the spirit of attack.